Alright guys, so welcome to course update 4.0. This update is going to actually make you a monster, okay? This update has all the advanced ICT concepts, and if you understand these concepts, guys, trust me, you will become an independent trader. You will not need anyone else, okay? You will be able to identify daily bias, monthly bias, weekly bias. You will be able to create your own model. I will teach you a couple of new strategies that are insanely profitable and insanely powerful. But let's talk about our first topic of the course update, which is the monthly, weekly, and daily bias. Now, before we get into the monthly, weekly, and daily bias, we want to know about external liquidity and internal liquidity. So over here, as you can see, I have marked out this high as external liquidity. I've also marked out this low as external liquidity. So basically price and this right here, this fair value gap in the discount. So this is the equilibrium of this move. So if you use your Fibonacci from this to this, that is your equilibrium, right? And below any fair value gap below that is an internal liquidity. So what market does is market only moves in two ways, okay? It either takes out external liquidity, right? And seeks for internal liquidity, right? So market will take out external liquidity, and the drawn liquidity would be the fair value gap in the discount, okay? That is one thing that market does. And the second and the last thing that market does is it moves from internal sorry guys, it moves from internal to external right here. So this right here is an external liquidity here as well. So basically, we are moving from external to internal and from internal to external. I'll repeat again. External liquidity is any high or low, and internal liquidity is any fair value gap in the discount or premium. That is what you need to know about external and internal liquidity. Okay, so now how do we find let's talk about monthly bias, okay? So for monthly bias, we want to be using 3 time frames, okay? And for weekly bias, we will use 2 time frames as well. And for daily, we would use 3 time frames as well. And you will be learning a new strategy in this video as well. So keep watching, okay? So how do we determine the monthly bias? It's very simple. You mark out the closest high or low, and if you see that price has taken an external liquidity, look below it. Where is the fair value gap in the discount? Okay, so you want to use your fib from bottom to top on the monthly time frame first. Okay, we go to the monthly first. Once price has taken out external liquidity, now we need to have a confluence that price is not going to reverse into internal liquidity. Okay, we can't just simply short from here because we have no confirmation. So once you have a purge of external liquidity on the monthly time frame, you want to drop down to the daily time frame. And once you drop down to daily time frame, you want to look for a market structure shift. Once you have a market structure shift, guys, that is your confirmation that we are gonna seek this internal liquidity. Okay, now you have your high time frame, and now you have your daily time frame supporting that narrative as well, that we are going to go down into the internal liquidity right here, which is the fair value gap in the discount. So once you have the market structure shift, what you want to do is you can literally take your entry from that auto block. Okay, that is your simple model. Okay, you can simply use this as a strategy. Once you get a market structure shift, take your entry from here, take partials along the way. Your main target would be here. Okay, although when we go into different chapters of this course update, I'm going to teach you my specific strategies that I use with this by combining daily bias and all. But for now, what we are learning is how to identify your monthly bias. So once you have a market structure shift on the daily time frame, your monthly bias would be bearish until this internal liquidity is hit. Now, of course, it's not going to be hit like 100% of the time, but most of the time, price will draw into the fair value gap. that is in the discount, and that is unmitigated. The fair value gap has to be unmitigated, okay? That is very important. So you have a market structure shift, right? And that is pretty much your level. So once you have a market structure shift, you can look for simply take your entry from the fair value gap. You can use ABC strategy. You can use ABCD trading strategy. You can use whatever you want. Once you have a market structure shift, your bias is to the downside. Now your entries and executions must be on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, when you're using ABC or ABCD, whatever it is. I'm going to talk about those later, but once you have a market structure shift, you can take your entry on the daily time frame as well, because we got the market structure shift, so price is going to go down anyways, right? So you can take your entry from, I don't know, this fair value gap over here, or it could be an auto block here. Just remember your target is over here. And similarly for weekly bias, we use these time frames. For the higher time frame is going to be 1 week. So our high time frame is weekly. Our intermediate time is like 4 hour, and our lowest time frame is going to be 15 minutes. So similarly, what you're looking for is price to take out some form of high or low. Once price has taken out high or low on the weekly time frame, you are simply looking for a market structure shift on a 4 hour time frame. Now the thing is, price cannot keep going up right like that and then give you a market structure shift. You want to see like an instant market structure shift once price takes out liquidity. Okay, you can, yeah, so you have to train your eyes. I'm going to show you the examples, and then that would be clear on how you can, you know, differentiate it. So once you have like a market structure shift on the 4 hour time frame, you can simply take your entry from the 4 hour time frame itself, or you can use 15-minute time frames for other strategies. But don't worry about that. I'm going to teach you that stuff later on. But what we need to know is, once you get the market structure shift, your bias is now set, okay? Your bias for the weekly, your weekly bias is going to be bearish until the internal liquidity is hit right here. So let me show you an example how this would look like. So let's say price takes out external liquidity on the weekly time frame. You drop down to the 4 hour time frame, you mark out any low. Once price breaks that low, you will get a market structure shift. So you simply use your fib from top to bottom and look for your entry above the 0.5 level. Okay, so there could be a fair value gap, and that is a simple model, okay, that you can use, a strategy. But there are better ones I'm going to teach you, so don't worry. So right here you can see we get a market structure shift right here, over here. We take our entry, we target this level, this fair value gap below the 0.5 level. And from here onwards, you can see we move from internal to external. Now, moving from internal to external is I would say is not that high probable, if that makes sense. For example, if you're looking to go from internal to external, that would require you to have a very, very strong bias. Like if the auto flow is extremely bullish, then you can look for this type of bias setup, right? So this whole concept, this right here, even though I knew ABC, right? This is ABC basically, and into the fair value gap, and ABC right here, and then into the fair value gap, or this low here. This was simplified. Big shout out to the market maker. I don't know what's his name, the market maker or something like that on Twitter. And this concept is from him. So I want to give a shout out to and credit to him. The market maker model. I think maker. I don't know. Wait, let me just check so I am giving the shout out to the correct person. It is basically the market maker trader. Okay, the MMXM trader. Big shout out to him. So if you want to learn this concept from the person who like simplified this, you can go and, you know, learn from him. But I'm teaching the exact same thing. So basically, that is pretty much it you need to know about external and liquidity. And for the daily bias, of course, we're going to use 3 time frames as well. So let's say that this is the daily time frame. Price takes out external liquidity on the daily time frame right here, right? You want to drop down to 1 hour again, and then you want to look for a market structure shift. Once you have a market structure shift on the hourly time frame, you can simply look for your entry on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, that is your your simple bread and butter model. You can simply use that model to take trades. Okay, but if you want to increase your win rate, I mean, no, I wouldn't say win rate, but if you want to increase your risk to reward ratio, you have to use this time 5 minutes, and I'll get to that later in the video, in the course. Okay, so don't worry about it. Once you get the market structure shift, as I said before, your bias is confirmed. Okay, price will not breach this high once you get the market structure shift, so your target will be here. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you take your trade and you hold the whole trade until internal liquidity is hit. We don't know about markets what they're gonna do, so just take your target at a specific level. Could be 1 to 2, 1 to 3, right? You just need to know the direction of the market. You don't want to target the exact same location, which is this. Okay, price can simply just come down here and then reverse, but we are setting up our bias like, okay, this is gonna be hit, so we're gonna trade until we are above. So basically your entries also must be above the the 0.5 level here. Okay, so remember that. So now that we have talked about all these things and external and internal liquidity, let me give you guys a couple of examples.